Welcome to my channel. This is Curtis A. Merriweather Jr. In 2020, I was named a game changer by the White House Policy Advisor for Innovation Entrepreneurship. And I just want to thank you for tuning in. Now, before I jump into my topic, I want you to subscribe, share, and leave me a comment. Now, let's get into our topic today. Today, we want to talk about what it means to win a multi-billion-dollar contract. You know, if you've been watching the news, you've been looking at LinkedIn, you've been seeing some high-profile awards. So today, I would like to demystify that process and give you some insight so you can better evaluate what you're seeing. So today, in our conversation about winning a multi-billion-dollar contract award, we want to talk about single awards versus multiple award contracts. Now, this comes right from the FAR. As you know, the FAR is the Federal Acquisition Regulation, called the FAR. It's the Bible for government contracting. And this comes out of specifically Part 52, which talks about solicitation provisions and contract clauses. But we're going to drill down further into Part 52, and we're going to look at Section 216-27, where it talks about single or a multiple award contracts. So when you see a multi-billion-dollar award, by the end of this conversation, you should be able to ask some pretty pertinent questions. So what is a single award contract? FAR 52, Section 217-27 says, the government may elect to award a single delivery contract or task order award. So let me repeat, the government may elect to award a single delivery order contract or task order award. Now, let me put this in layman's terms. It means that for this contract, there is one awardee. Tasks are not typically competed. So the way that the government works contracts is there's a contract ceiling. And the example that I often use is, think of the contract ceiling as the amount of money in a checking account. So you have a checking account, and for our fictitious example here, we're going to say you got $13.4 billion in your checking account. But none of that money spent into task orders are written. The issuance of a task order, in our fictitious example, is going to be akin to writing a check to a vendor for some type of product or service being rendered. So in a single award contract, task orders are not typically competed. So this is your contract to lose in a single award environment. Only way you lose a contract is if the government, for whatever reason, no longer has need of that service. We call that termination for convenience, or termination for default is where you, the vendor, have messed up royally, and there's government is probably giving you a few opportunities to correct the situation, and for whatever reason, the situation hasn't been corrected. The government can elect to terminate that contract for default. But when you win a single award contract, you have access to all the opportunities associated with that contract action. This is a single award contract, one awardee, and you have access to all of the subsequent, all of the future task order awards for that contract. And we're going to keep it there. I could go in more detail, but I don't want this to be extremely long video or overly complicated. Now, that's a single award. So when you win a $13.4 billion contract, the question you need to be asking is a single award or is a multiple award contract? Now, I'm going to go out on the limb and tell you in 10 out of 10 cases, when you see contract awards that large, typically, unless it's for ships or missile defense system or something like that, typically it's going to be a multiple award contract, especially if it's a services contract. Now, you can get some pretty substantial contracts in the product space for very specialized items, munitions, weapon systems, planes, boats, trains. They make trains, but you get the idea. Now, a single award contract, same FAR clause, FAR 52, Section 216-27. The government may elect to award multiple delivery order contracts or task order contracts for the same or similar supplies or services to two or more sources under a solicitation. So here, multiple award, multiple winners, two or more. I've seen multiple award contracts get awarded up to 11, 20. You start talking about these huge contracts like some of these huge GWACs, which is, I'll do another video on GWACs. You talk about some of these huge contracts, you may see hundreds of awardees, but a multiple award contract is a two or more awardee, a multiple award contract opportunity. So when you win the contract, you and at least one other person has won. Now, we refer to these multiple award contracts as hunting licenses. So just think about a hunter. He goes out into the field, him and everyone else who's hunting, and they are competing for deer. Let's just say it's deer season. They're competing for deer. It's a very similar situation here. You have a multiple award contract. You have a hunting license. So each task order, unlike in our single award where the task orders are just granted, typically, in the multiple award, each task order is competed. So you write a proposal to win the contract, and then you write a synopsized proposal for every delivery order. So everything is competed. And this gives you the opportunity to compete. So when you win a multiple award contract, you've won the opportunity to compete against a smaller subset of the bidding population. Now, so when you win a large contract award, let's just say it's $13.4 billion, there's no guarantee you're going to make $13.4 billion. It's actually very slim that you're actually going to make $13.4 billion. And especially depends on what the competitive pool may look like. So the question you need to ask yourself is, what is the contract ceiling? Remember that we, in our fictitious example we gave a few moments ago, we talked about the contract ceiling being akin to the available balance in a checking account. And in our fictitious example, we got $13.4 billion available in this checking account. And we talked about how task orders or delivery orders are written is akin to you writing something in your checkbook to a vendor. It's very similar. So when a delivery order is actually authorized, that means there's been some type of competitive process for them to determine who the viable winner of that money should be. So contract value speaks to how much money each individual awardee has made, tangible dollars has made on that contract. So it's a very important distinction because you'll see these huge numbers, and the question you need to ask yourself, was that contract ceiling or is that contract value? They're not the same. Ceiling is the total potential of the contract for everyone, by the way. That's a combined pool. So if you see a $13.4 billion contract ceiling, typically that's for the collective. And the individual awards that you win are individual. Okay, so when the checkbook balance is gone, whether I write the check to one person or one company, if I write them to 7 companies, when that balance is expended, and of course it's competed based on who's going to win what. When that balance is expended, that contract is terminated. So contracts terminate for a couple of reasons. This is extra. A contract's terminated, and let's just say there are no performance issues. The government has ample supply of money. This service is very much needed. A contract will terminate when either A, the period of performance expires, meaning the start date and end date. When you win a government contract, they tell you in the contract the start date and the end date, or in the solicitation, they tell you the start date and the end date. So that's called a period of performance. Typically, we see a base and 4 years, okay? So either the period of performance has expired or the contract ceiling has been exhausted. And in some cases, the government can increase the ceiling, but for our fictitious example here, the contract ceiling is exhausted or the period of performance has ended. That marks the end of that contract. So that's all I want to talk about here. We want to talk about the difference between single awards and multiple award contracts, especially when it comes to these multi-billion-dollar awards. So when you're looking at contract pursuits, you need to understand, is it a single award? Am I bidding one time and win the whole pot? Or is it a multiple award when I bid my contract or I bid the solicitation and I win, am I now going to be subjected to additional follow-on proposal activities, because that's going to go into your cost as you evaluate if this is a viable opportunity for you to pursue or not. That's all I want to share. Hey, I hope this video was helpful to you. Hope it demystifies some things or either shed some light on some new things for you. Definitely, if you haven't subscribed already, definitely subscribe. Leave me a comment, share, and I'll see you on the next video. And if you haven't watched all my videos, go back and watch some of my videos. Until next time.